No romance allowed by Kana. Chapter 6. Sleep eluded me that night. My mind constantly spun about Jane's offer. She met my roommate criteria, except for the rental term. But anything that sounded too good usually ended up bad. My computer's office clock read 9 a.m., but I was having a hard time keeping my eyes open. I should go for coffee. I peeked into Lena's cubicle, and it was still empty. She had a doctor's appointment and would be in shortly. Rowena wasn't in her office because every Wednesday morning, she, Desiree, and Christine had a meeting with Valerie to review Myriad Beverages' weekly performance. Standing up, I looked over at Yushi, whose cubicle was behind mine. She was looking seriously at her screen with her reading glasses sitting on the middle of her nose. At 29 years old, she was too young for reading glasses. She lifted her head at the sound of my fingers, tapping on the edge of her cubicle. "Want to go down for some coffee or tea?" I asked in a half-whisper. Pushing her eyeglasses up, she shook her head and said, "I have to pass this time. Christine wants me to redo this journal entry after finding an error on the sales tax report." "Sorry." "No worries," I said, turning to Sylvia, whose cubicle was next to Yushi. "Sylvia, how about you?" "Our aging report meeting." She pointed to the papers she'd been organizing. "I have a conference call with our operation team in New Jersey in 10 minutes. What a bummer." "Okay, I'll go down by myself. See you later." I left my computer on, so when Rowena came back before me, she would know that I was still in the office. Going down the stairs, I saw a group of salespeople entering a big meeting room downstairs, probably for the monthly meeting with the VP of Sales and Marketing. Judging by their formal dresses and suits, they must have been from the wine group that handled high-end clients. My 3-inch high heels clackety-clacked on the hard floor as I reached the corridor to the lunchroom. I pushed the swinging door to the lunchroom open and headed across to the water dispenser, took a paper cup from the stack on top of the dispenser machine, and filled the cup with water. The cold water woke me up a bit, so I dispensed another cup. "Are you going to hog the water dispenser?" a familiar voice asked from behind me. Swirling around, I came face to face with a sandy-haired guy in an orange checkered shirt standing behind me. Jason Grant was from the purchasing department whom I'd met during my new employee orientation. He was kind and helpful, and one of the most handsome guys in the office. Lena called him Prince Charming because of his angelic face. Yushi, the smallest among the four of us, liked him because of his tall and athletic body. "It would fix my short gene if I married a tall guy like him," she'd said. I used to crush on him and had always tried to synchronize my lunchtime or break time with him. But then someone had told me he was in a serious relationship, and I'd stepped back just to be friends with him. "Hey, Jason. Sorry, I didn't know you were waiting for the water," I said, moving aside. Adjusting his glasses on his nose, Jason smiled. "Just kidding, Rory," he said. "Don't stop if you aren't done yet." "No worries. I'm done," I said, waving my hand to the dispenser. "Now, I need to grab some coffee." I spun to the left and headed toward the Keurig machine. "If I'd known I'd meet you in here, I'd have brought your favorite tea down," Jason said, dispensing some water. "So how are you?" "Good, just still busy with the reconciliation reports. How about yourself?" I asked, choosing hazelnut flavor from the many boxes of K-cups and plopping it into the machine. Tightening his water bottle cap, Jason turned to face me and leaned on the water dispenser. Under the dim lunchroom light, I detected sadness flash across his face and realized his beautiful green eyes looked gloomy. "I broke up with Cindy." Taking a deep breath, he ran his fingers over his hair. "Oh. Sorry about that," I said. I was genuinely sorry because Jason had seemed devoted to his girlfriend. "When did that happen?" He adjusted his eyeglasses. "We broke up 2 months ago," he said, gazing at the floor. "Our lifestyles were too different. I like watching movies, and she doesn't. She preferred to stay home and cook or bake rather than going out. I like cycling, and she doesn't. She always dressed so plainly, even for parties. I tried to encourage her to dress more fashionably, but she would get upset with me. I gave up after being patient for 2 years. Now it's over, and I move on." He shrugged. "Yeah, it is what it is." Then his face lightened up. "Hey, are you still looking for a roommate? Have you found one?" "No luck yet," I shook my head. "I see. Jason nodded. If you are still looking, I'm looking for a room. Would you mind having a male roommate? Why are you looking for a room? I asked. It was Cindy's apartment, so I've been living with my brother, and he and his wife just had a baby. So, can I be your roommate? We can carpool to the office. Wouldn't it be great? My heart almost jumped out of my chest. Oh my God. Did I hear him correctly? Jason is willing to rent a room from me. Actually, I'm looking for a female roommate, I said, rubbing my ear. A thin cloud seemed to wash over his face. Sorry, I said, lowering my eyes to avoid his. Jason chuckled half-heartedly. Don't worry about it. Never hurts to ask. And if you change your mind, please consider me for your next roommate. I don't mind paying a bit more than your previous roommate paid, he added with his angelic smile. I'll let you know, I said, controlling my hammering heart as we walked toward the door together. Jason pushed the door open and held it for me. I could smell his fresh scent as we walked down the hallway toward the foyer. He flashed me a smile as he turned left to his office. For the rest of the day, that conversation bugged me. I couldn't take my mind off his request to be my roommate. With just one small criterion change, my financial problem would be solved, and Jason was an excellent candidate. He had a permanent job, so would likely stay longer, hopefully, and I already knew him. But how would I tell my aunt? Maybe her reaction wouldn't be as bad as I'd been assuming, especially if I told her I'd been living on the top ramen diet for more than 3 months. Even though worrying about my aunt's reaction still made my palms clammy, I was determined to tell her that night. End of Chapter 6. You have been listening to Chapter 6 of No Romance Allowed by Kana. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to share this channel with your friends so they can enjoy the story. If you want to know what I've been writing, please subscribe to my newsletter in the description below. Thank you for supporting my